Okay, welcome back to another instalment of our violent sadism. I'd apologise for the delay, but frankly it's not my fault. It's just been really crazy here for the last month or so, really. And we're getting more characters introduced. Ares, who I somehow don't think has a very long lifespan left. I mean, he's being sent into the front lines here, and really, when your name is Ares, you're either the main villain or a mook. There's no sort of middle ground here. And frankly, he looks like a mook. He really, really looks like a mook. And Marco, being an absolute idiot here, is not only running off by himself, he's also ignoring the protestations that our PC is, okay. Which, given our PC's complete inability to feel things like pain or remorse, might not actually be a bad idea. And this is a two-part stage, which is why it goes for about 10 minutes. And we have two opponents here. Sylvia, the psycho, leather-wearing Amazon, and the more traditionally feminine white mage accompanying her. Way to stereotype there, Tecmo. But then this is Tecmo we're talking about, so we should probably be thankful that the main character isn't showing off more cleavage than a bloody Playboy cover. And monkeying about with a couple of different ideas here. Mostly, the thing to realise is that one of the opponents here is a ranged opponent. Resfina will not close into fight hand to hand, which means if you want to goad her into fighting, you have to basically hide where she can't shoot at you, and then convince her to come over where the trap is, which is somewhat difficult compared to melee opponents, who for the most part will simply make a beeline for you and suffer something like that. You didn't see that, but basically we have murdered Sylvia by launching her into the other side of the map, dropping a rock on her and waiting for the spikes to reappear and finish the job for us. There's something oddly and unintentionally, I swear, ironic that we basically murdered the single-stage lesbian stereotype by throwing her onto a giant bunch of sharp phallic objects. I didn't actually think about that when I set that trap up, honestly. But now that I think about it, that really doesn't look too good. I mean, with blood everywhere and all that, it didn't look too good for anyone, but still. And here we get the difficulty with trying to figure out how you goad a ranged opponent to be where you want. And the game won't let you set up ceiling traps underneath destroyable, as overpasses, or overpasses for that matter. Could be a balance thing. I prefer to think of it as a pain in the ass thing. Forces me to rethink my strategy entirely for this stage. And considering I've already eliminated one of them, my strategy is basically going to be how quickly can I eliminate the other one. Because I don't really know how I'm going to get rid of Resfina at this point. I think I'm going to try and goad her into a pendulum swing. I'm not sure if that's going to work. So, unlike most of the other ones at this stage, is not entirely pre-recorded. They had to be done in a couple of sessions. What we're going to do basically is we're going to try and goad her. You see the spikes spring out there, which must have been a very unpleasant way to end. And we're basically going to try and goad her into walking onto the thunderclaw so I can swing a pendulum at her. This is kind of my default MO for all traps, though the thunder trap makes the opponent double over when it hits them, which means it's rather unreliable if you want to try and chain it into a pendulum or similar. Doesn't work all that well. But you can see here I've kind of thought differently as to what I was going to do. I'm going to try, and you'll see here that it doesn't work very well. Because the pendulum is quite likely to miss at this point. Doesn't always, but it usually does. And having done that, we're not quite satisfied yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to, when it reactivates, we're going to set up a push floor underneath the bridge, as it will let us now. Or a spring floor, I should say. And it doesn't really matter where it throws her. The whole point of this is that it's not quite going to kill her, and that will hopefully let us, set up a second hit. Because as I've gone over before, this game is all about being able to chain together more combos. Because more combos means more points, means more traps, means more dead people. And this game is all about the dead people. So you can see me basically hiding around the corner there. Now I'm going to run over and I'm going to pull the switch. Kasplat. And I get rewarded for it. This game is seriously not sending family-friendly messages. Okay, now we get the obligatory cutscene, where Bianca seems to be feeling like her heart has been cut out. And yes, that is Marco's voice, we know, because it's subtitled as Marco. Apparently not as much better as she thought she was, because... Okay, Ares just put himself on the list. I can certainly believe Marco came out of nowhere, but frankly, you're a big, bald, kung fu monk-looking guy. And you may have just killed the main character's closest friend, so you should be thankful if she actually lets you die, Ares. Because it's going to hurt, but you may live through it. I think you may have just saved Cecilia's life right there. Because, frankly, I think the mercy just went out the window at this point. I'm going to wear Ares' skull like a trophy. Oh, seriously, if the game allowed you to do that, I would. Dude is a dick. And our basic strategy at this point, when I actually set the right trap up, is Ares is rather dim-witted and basically he's melee only. He also doesn't have particularly good, reflexes or range, so I can basically do that to him. I'm going to run out, dodge a few times, and I'm going to Thunderclaw the motherfucker. In revenge, of course, he's going to kick me in the back of the head, but ha ha ha, I have a giant rock. Not to be, mistaken for something that rhymes with that, but still. Fortunately, Ares is not dead. And I say fortunately because it means I can torture him some more. I've just noticed the giant hanging statue thing up there, and I think I know how to bring it down. So we're going to go with yet another trap to hold him in place, because this is going to be a slow death. And not that trap, we actually want the Thunderclaw at this point. The fact that it doubles people over doesn't matter if I'm dropping something on them. Might as well use the fight. Now, we're not actually going to end up using the wall trap for this one for reasons that are completely luck-driven, and you'll see in a minute. We're going to use the Mega Rock to basically drop down on the trigger 4. You can see where it's hanging up. So we're going to basically try and kite Ares onto the trap, and I'm aware of how much that sounds like a World of Warcraft idea. But we're going to run around and dodge his crossbow-wielding friend for a few seconds. Keep dodging, and wait till he treads on the bear trap. And we're going to now, drop a giant rock on his head. And Raditz apparently decided to commit suicide there because he ran in underneath it. No, Raditz, that's not being hunted, that's being massacred. Suck it up. And I don't know what this legendary stone is, but it may be somewhat related to the legendary set of brass balls our heroine appears to possess. And if, Marco is not dead, which kind of underlines all that sacrifice stuff. Or possibly he is going to die. Yeah, Marco's dead. And if this world has any way of resurrecting people, Ares had better watch out, or I'm going to resurrect him again, to kill him again and again, basically till I get bored of it, which could take several hours. So that's the end of stage 5. We're going to have a look at how we killed people. Yeah, the wall spear, which Fallen Angel. We got both of them with the one Fallen Angel, which I'm quite happy with. It's like cricket. Sometimes you get, two people run out off the same play. And when it happens, it's beautiful. Haven't had a chance to mess around with the impact emblem yet. I'll do that before the next video and hopefully have some nice new sadistic traps for next time. Fuck you all. Good night.